I'm going to give you a true story. One that shows how blurred the levels of the food chain can suddenly become, possibly putting them into question and replacing those that thought they were on top. It may put it into a little bit of perspective. Join me now as we delve into another deer tale. Welcome back to our little camp area. We went out, we did a little walk, went down into a clear cut where the basis of my story was actually going to be, but it's been a few years since I've been down there, so things have grown up and changed a little bit. We can't tell a story until we eat. Got some steak. We're going to fry up some sandwich steak and put it on some brioche bread. And we do that before we lose light. Don't know if we caught it on film earlier. I don't hear it now, but there was wolves howling a couple hundred yards away, which would be quite interesting if they do show up. So, all right, let's get to it. Let's have our meal. Two brioche steak sandwiches, out west style. Got a couple sandwiches out here in the west. Probably, no, I don't hear them right now, but the wolves are howling in the background. I'm gonna try, not that I need a bunch of energy right now, but a Grizzly Energy sour gummy bear flavor. That should be real interesting. Kind of fitting that we're in grizzly country. So again, rules of camp state that we have to eat first before we can tell our story. So I'm going to enjoy this. Give this a try before my sandwich. Oh, sour gummy bear. Interesting. It tastes just like a sour gummy bear. Try one of these sandwiches. See how well they are. Hot beef sandwich. Feels good on a cool evening. Warm me up a little bit. So I'm going to finish this. Then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about levels of the food chain. And if the wolves in the background were a precursor, we're going to let you know where they stand in the food chain compared to us. Be right back, and we'll tell our story. So the meal's over. We're now within the rules. We're gonna sit down and have story time. So over the course of time and through the years, man has always been considered the top of the food chain. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a story that might set that in a little bit of perspective and maybe put it to question. So about 10 years ago, we had come out, Tim and I had come out here. We had parked up on top where Mike and I are today, and we walked down into a big clear cut. And actually, I'd walked down into the clear cut. Tim had stayed up on the top, and we were elk hunting. It was probably mid to late September. The elk were still calling, and we'd seen some signs. We thought we'd come down there and give it a try. And our plan was I would go down to the bottom and we would cow call back and forth every 10-15 minutes. We weren't going to bugle at all. We were just kind of cow call, and hopefully we could entice a bull in. So I got down to the bottom, followed a little road down to the very bottom of the clear cut on the edge, and I took off to the right, and I just stayed inside the tree line, and there was a big fallen stump that I could set my gun up on, and I could nicely hide behind it. And I had a nice perfect view out in front of the wolves, out in front of the clear cut. So we sat there for a little bit. We both had radios, so we could communicate back and forth. I had an earbud in, so we could talk pretty quiet. Tim was up top, and we'd give it probably 15-20 minutes to kind of settle down and let the quiet take over. And I let out a cow call. Tim had let out a cow call. We did this back and forth over the course of, I don't know, maybe half an hour or so. And it was one of these times where I had let out a couple of little mews. Tim had let out a couple of mews in the distance, and I was just panning out over the field, over the clear cut, and through the tall grass, I could see some movement coming towards me. And as I watched it, it was something black, but it was low to the ground. So I kind of assumed that it was probably a bear, because there was lots of bears in the area. And I was watching it. I kind of grabbed my rifle because I'm a little uneasy about the bears. I don't care for bears. Anyways, I'm watching this, and as it come through the grass, I could still just see it was black, and then it burst out of the grass onto the edge of the roadway, and here it was a big black wolf. And it had come out, and it just stood just on the edge of the grass, and it was looking back and forth and sniffing the air. And then it cut up the road that I had walked down, and I kind of got a little uneasy feeling, because where there's one wolf there's more. But anyways, I'm watching this, and kind of watching it go up through the trees. It's going up the road, and I lost sight of it. And I'm getting a little nervous, so I'm kind of looking over my shoulder, and I'm looking back out in the field, waiting for another wolf or something to come out. And I look up over my shoulder. As I pan back, here comes another one, and another black one, and it came out, and it walked in front of me, probably 20 yards maybe, and it walked in front of me, and it went about 25-30 yards past on my right side, and then it went up into the tree line. So now I'm flanked by both sides, or on both sides by two wolves, and I'm watching back and forth, and I'm looking over my left shoulder, I'm looking over my right shoulder, and I look back, and another one came out, and another black one, and this one came out, looked around, and it walked in front of me the same path as the second one, and then it turned, and it just kept pacing back and forth. So now I've got three of them. Two of them I can't see, one of them I know where it is. So obviously they'd honed in on the cow calls. And I had now become the hunted. I'm watching the one wolf. I know there's two more, and I'm doing the pan back and forth over my shoulder. And as I'm coming back again, here comes a fourth one. And it came out, and it didn't hesitate too long. It just kind of dog paddled up the same path that the first one went. So I had my radio, and I was contemplating either doing something to scare the wolves or possibly shoot one. And I grabbed the rifle, put the crosshairs on the fourth one that was just walking slowly up the path, and had the crosshairs right on it at 30 yards. Couldn't pull the trigger. It looked too much like my dog. I couldn't do it. So I let it go. And I watched it, and when it got out of sight, I was making sure that the one out in front of me was still visible. And I reached up to the radio, and I hit the talk button, and I said, "Tim," I said, "I'm surrounded by a pack of wolves." And let off, and I waited, and the radio kind of crackled back. I heard Tim say something to the effect of, I couldn't understand what was that. So I reached up slowly and I hit the talk button again. I said, "I'm surrounded by a pack of wolves." I'm whispering this, I'm not saying it that loud. And he crackled back over the radio again. He said, "I can't understand something, wolves." I've got three behind me, I got one pacing in front of me. And I'm still walking, looking back and forth, watching back and forth. And as I'm panning back from right to left, I see there's another one has come out. It's a gray one, and it's head and shoulders above the other ones. So obviously this was the alpha. And I thought, I don't care for this. I don't like this. And I clicked the radio again. I said to Tim, I said, "I'm surrounded by a pack of wolves. I'm not sure what to do." And of course, I didn't know until after the fact, in hindsight, that he couldn't hear any of that because the radio was crackling. He was just getting bits and pieces of it. So I was watching the wolves, and I thought, you know what? I don't like this. So I decided I wasn't going to shoot, but I thought I just clapped my hands, and I did 2 or 3 loud claps. And when I did that, the gray wolf spun and went back through the grass. The black wolf back in front of me, he took off, or it took off, and it ran beyond the road into the tree line. And I could hear the other ones coming down from above me. And the right one came first, and it went flying past me. 2 blacks go down this side. And it got quiet, and I'm not sure, I don't profess to know wolf behavior too terribly much, but after about 15 seconds of silence, it was like they came back together as a pack, and they were barking and yipping, and you could hear them snarling, and it was almost like they were, I don't know if they were playing or if they were, it sounded like they were attacking another animal. I could hear them snapping and yelping, and I guess Tim heard all that after he heard something to the effect of a pack of wolves and surrounded. And next thing I could hear is Tim. I could hear his foot pounds coming down the road, and he was running. And if you remember back in those the Bugs Bunny cartoons and Elmer Fudd, it's kind of what he looked like. He come down. I saw him beetling down through the road, and he hit the edge of the clear cut, and he's just standing there with his rifle. He's looking around, and in any case, I kind of snapped my hands and gave a light whistle and flagged him over. And he says, "What's going on?" He says, I heard I heard something about wolves, and then it sounded like they were attacking you. So I relayed the story, and we talked about it for a little bit, and he says, well, I wonder if we should maybe go after them. He says, I wouldn't mind a wolf pelt. I just shook my head and I said, no, I'm not. After that, I'm not too interested. I just want to get out of here. I want to go somewhere where we can actually shoot something that's useful. So yeah, you sit back and you look at your humanity, and you look at where you sit in the world. And yes, we are up there at the top of that food chain, but those roles can be quickly reversed given the right circumstances. And unbeknownst to us at the time, we weren't really anticipating calling in anything other than an elk, but other animals have to eat too, I guess, and we became what they thought was going to be their next meal. So yeah, we packed up and headed out to continue the rest of our day. Well, that's my story. Like I said, that goes to show that the roles can be reversed, and you can sometimes become more hunted than you want to be. So I'm going to sit here, enjoy this fire, have some more of my sour gummy bear drink that I've been ignoring the whole time, and maybe hear those wolves howling a bit more. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining in around the campfire, listening to my story. If you've got a story similar to that you'd like to share, by all means put it down in the comments, and we'd like to hear your story. So thanks for watching. I'm Bruce from Wes-Can Adventures. Catch you on the next one.